Countdown.
Yeah.
There you go.
All
Okay.
Okay.
All right. This is a teachers meeting, and we're recording for Coop and whoever else needs to hear it. But we were just talking about some of the holidays and clearing up some last minute stuff. Heidi and Amanda are talking about doing a children's activity for Samhain. Donna was kind enough to donate a huge big box of craft items for the children's program. There are sequins and plastic beads and lots of ribbon and lace and fabric stuff.
And there's still a ton of lace and satin if you want to go through it.
Okay.
Pick out anything you want and they
Just so that you know that you have that available to you, because I know I didn't tell you yet that you had that.
And I have some stuff that I can put in with it too.
Well, what are you thinking of doing for the children's that they'll,
For Samhain?
not do during the big one for the adults?
I am not sure at this point. I am still getting thoughts organized, and I need to purchase some binders and dividers so that I can separate moons and holidays and even kids' ages, so that.
Okay, when it comes to purchasing anything, Ayla told me that we had $120 in members' dues, and Bill Orlow has purchased $66 worth of herbs and oils. So we should have that available to us, but I have yet to hear from Ayla.
Okay.
So we will have at least the $66.
Okay.
But we also have a large event happening in August that we need to look at too. So, and maybe we can raise some more members' dues and some other things between here and there, you know. So, but I don't want to see too much coming out of your personal budget for the children's.
Right. I do have a lot of resources though, where people would be willing to donate me some stuff.
There you go.
So,
I'm all for donations.
So,
okay, well,
Are we going to stop using the binders?
In my opinion, I mean, I suppose if anybody wants to use the binders, they can use the binders, but I was just going to use them for songs, if nothing else.
Okay. So we're still going to use them, just leave the songs in there. Okay.
Occasionally, I don't think all the time.
Yeah, I mean, you didn't this time. And
it got to be too.
Well, that's how we get so
restrictive.
regimented, is because we're going by the binders.
I felt like I was in kindergarten most of the time, you know.
Well, however, then Star said, what is the Gayatri? What were you guys singing? You know, I'd like a copy of it.
Sure.
I'm sure Coop's handling that. So
He'd
he'd put her on Spotify and send it to her.
Oh, did he?
I'll ask her if she did. He did, and if he hasn't, I'll give her the link to the.
Oh, please do.
actual one.
Thank you for picking that up. Coop is a busy person these days.
Absolutely.
Before I forget, there's a whole box of file folders there. If anybody needs them for sorting or arranging, they're up for grabs.
Okay, no, I don't need them.
I don't
myself.
either, but if it'll help anybody organize, you're welcome.
I can put them in my storage.
Even if you cut them up for cardstock.
It's possible that I could use those for the children's program, yes.
Okay, so we'll put those in the storage unit. Don't let me walk out of here without them. Okay. So Amanda and Heidi, neither one are, I wish Todd was here. Neither one are technically teachers at this time. Amanda is here because Amanda wants to take on our children's program. Yay!
Yes.
We kind of have talked, and we kind of feel that we should have a little something of a children's program kit, I suppose, available that goes to every meeting and ritual with us. That way, if there are children, we have something, at least a little something available for when we do get children. So if she takes on our children's program, of course, she will be one of our teachers at that point. We have yet to vote her in to do this at council, but that's where we are today.
Right.
Heidi's here because Heidi's our technical support in teaching. The cameras and Skype and all those other things. And at some point you might want to teach.
Well, I don't see why I couldn't, jump into second year next year if we have a second year. We'll have a second year, so.
Oh, I'm sure Donna would
teach
appreciate
the
that.
tarot and the astrology and the runes. I mean, those are simple enough to cover in. I'm thinking maybe, I don't know. I mean, you want to go over a couple of classes each one.
Well, Donna and Todd were going to do second year.
Okay, second year is different then.
And do third year.
You can have second year fully.
Well, I don't want second year by myself. So
no, she doesn't want to teach alone.
So second year, I'm thinking second year is the technical stuff. The magical stuff.
It's the Wicca 101 stuff. You know, where you go over the holidays and herbalism and what it is to do a ritual, how to set an altar, the elements.
And the question is whether we want to do it in a full year or separate modules.
Well, we don't want to, right?
Yeah. Break it up into
separate.
separate.
Second year for next year?
Yes.
Not this
I didn't think there was a
not this
second
summer.
year.
Not for September, but the following for 2015.
Okay, gotcha. Okay.
Yeah. So hopefully we'll have a second year next year.
Yeah.
But then how do you break that up? You don't want to do
well, that is up to
September
you. That is up to the teachers of that class. That's why we're here. We're discussing those things, but we've got time on that one. Just note that you're more than welcome to jump in there if you want. And Donna and Todd.
Yeah.
Donna in
so
particular.
what was the plan initially thinking for second year?
We didn't have one, just some ideas.
Yeah.
I was just thinking that we're trying to bring in more people with wider range of interests. And so, especially if we start drawing from the wider non-pagan community, somebody that's going to want to learn about herbs may not care a shit about
Wicca 101, right?
I'm having an idea about this.
So maybe if we break it up in modules.
I'm having an idea.
Oh no.
I know.
Yes, Gary, it's
if, for example, we want to sell herbalism online as a separate module, we could film it while we're teaching second year. If second year is going to be a longer, several month course.
However, we could teach a 6-week course with classes in herbalism every week.
Yeah.
And charge for just that.
Yes.
And those who want to do the full...
But we could also make that part of second year, too, if we wanted to.
Exactly. Those who want to do the full year can take all the modules, maybe for a break on price.
So, when someone finishes... Yeah, I'm still confused about what we're going to be doing this year. So we're going to...
This year?
Yeah, for first year students.
Okay, I have an outline if you want that. Okay. My first year starts a little bit before where we used to start.
Are we going to do interviews for?
No.
Okay, didn't think so. But
I don't think that we need to do that.
You might want to reconsider for online after you read that book. She had some really good thoughts on screening students.
Okay.
So, keep it open.
We may reconsider
particularly for online.
You better get her in there first.
This is
read
more
the
of
book.
a guinea pig year.
This is the guinea pig year.
Yes.
Yeah. So for these online students, no, we're not interviewing. I know these 3 people very well. They're very close.
Yeah. They're not going to be terrorizing,
No.
everybody else. All right.
No, my niece might be a little confused on a couple of points, but she'll come along. And I think that with the kinds of people that our first year students are that are here in the Valley, it'll help put her at ease. They have commonalities and personalities that are going to match really well. All of them actually do, But I want to start with, instead of doing an interview, I want to start, the first lesson is going to be me emailing them or sending them in whatever fashion a paper that talks about very briefly, I mean just a few sentences about starting at the beginning and finding out where you are. So let's look at where you are, and then there's a series of 7 questions, or 7 or 10 questions. And it is, what are your beliefs about God? What are your beliefs about spirituality? What are your beliefs about other people? And what about yourself? You know, what are your beliefs about society? You know, and about change, and things like this that are going to give us a really, really good feel for where they are starting. Even Mike said he didn't know if he could complete this, and that's the point, because it's going to be revisited later.
Right, it's going to evolve as they go.
Yeah, and so all these questions and all this writing that they're going to be doing will be put down in their journal. That's going to be the beginning of their journey. And then the first actual class that we have, we're going to discuss those. We're going to go over them, and each person's going to
Are you going to
say,
start with you are God?
Nope.
You're not. Okay.
Each person is going to get to say whatever their beliefs are. We're going to discuss that, you know, and stuff like that. And then from there, I kind of have a second lesson somewhat written in that we start talking about where did we get our beliefs? What is social conditioning? How do we really get to know ourselves? Things we incidentally covered as we went along in first year before, we're covering on purpose this time.
You want to go more in depth.
And more in depth.
Into that.
Yeah. And then we're going to go kind of from there into how we socially condition ourselves with our self-tapes, you know, and then pivoting and letting go, and how we start to begin this process of moving forward. And then once we get them really looking at, these are my beliefs, this is really kind of where I am, then we're going to hit them with the guiding process. Because I'm not leaving that out. I'm not leaving that out.
But leading up to it, after finding out who you are first and then changing it, is probably a good idea.
Yeah.
Thank you. And then some of the ideas in outline that I have is things like giving ourselves credit, about building self-trust. Oh, Molly, sweetheart.
Were you eating
Probably a
she found
piece of
something
popcorn.
to eat. Yeah.
or a piece of cracker, maybe?
That could
Probably
be.
just a rice cracker.
Probably a rice cracker.
Just checking and making sure.
I don't think it was anything that could have
It takes a village to raise a child.
That's right. So anyway,
Use
and then
ground.
talking about giving ourselves credit, trusting ourselves, how to change our self-tapes, you know, how, you know, and dealing with those feelings and changing our perspective.
Watching you.
She is. That's so cute. That's so cute. Little
Funny
girl. And then what I have here, we're going to go through attachments and expectations. And we're going to be doing meditations all the way through, by the way, from the very beginning. We'll also be doing almost the same meditation program as Ayla originally started with, and path workings and those things. We'll be going
very
along.
disciplined meditation learning.
It has to
Yeah,
be.
it
So
has
many people
to.
try it a couple of times and then say that's it. I'm
You
not
know,
gonna
when
try
I
it.
heard
I'm good at it.
when I heard our last year's first year's teacher say, whatever, it doesn't matter if you do this or not. I about fell over.
Well, meditation has changed. I mean, yes,
But
it's
it
still
changes
needed.
as you evolve, sweetheart.
Okay,
Yeah.
so it hasn't
You need
changed
to
for
learn how.
everyone.
No,
Yeah.
it
Okay.
changes as you evolve.
Alright.
And that part needs to be taught too. You know, yes, we
You have to
start
have the
here
boundaries
at the
for the
beginning and the
foundation
walking
first.
and we do this and so
Yeah.
on, and we do, you know, the little emails and keep in check and all that, and this is how we walk to get to meditation, and this is later how it evolves.
Okay.
Yeah. And I probably won't even go over how later it evolves until we hit fourth year.
Right.
You know.
Okay.
Well, second and third year, you don't really. I mean, Ayla kept tracking, you know, made sure we were still like, meditating with it. You know, she would ask us, but it's not. You know, and I don't know if Stanley still does it. I'm sure.
I don't know if he ever did.
He did.
Because he did?
He did it better. He kept it better than I did. So.
Oh.
I know my meditations have changed over the last couple of years. It used to be I had to set a specific time and everything had to be just so in order for me to do it.
I started that way too.
And
now
now
it's a good foundation now.
it is, and it was very disciplined and good for me. And I still do that sometimes, but a lot of my meditation now is like when I'm gardening and working with my plants, like I was telling you earlier, I get into that meditation zone, or you know, doing other things like that.
Moving meditation.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. Which, you know, depending on how much time we have, we can go into some of that, you know, which there's lessons written for that, and to date, I have been given permission to use all her work from first year. To date. Did you not hear her say that?
Yeah.
Yes.
We
Okay.
might look at that writing.
We're not going to discuss that part right now, but yeah.
We can discuss it during the meet.
Yes, we're going to do as much of our own writing as is possible. The lessons. I am not going to use her lessons by rote. They are all going to be rewritten and reformatted a little bit.
But with the same ideas.
But the basic
Perhaps-
the basic shells.
and then putting your own or our own ways to it or whatever.
And then we're gonna go from doing those things and then into feelings of self-love, how to self-love.
And that is very important.
Right, and then how to love others, and then how to heal our bodies. I think that needs to be part of it too, and healing ourselves.
And can you also stick in there how to use energy that's you know sent to you? How to use that too? Because people forget that you know when someone thinks about
that's
you,
a first year
energy,
thing?
You don't. I do because that's when you need it the most. You're doing your most healing probably that first year.
Yes, I can. I will do that.
Just something that says, you know, think about those people that you've asked for help or, you know, are thinking about you, that are sending you good vibes, good energy.
And how do you
use that?
Yeah.
How do you incorporate that into your self-healing?
I like that.
That's never been discussed
That
in my
that was a good
experience.
suggestion.
Okay, so energy you get from others and how to raise it yourself.
Well, how to incorporate it in your own personal healing.
Right. How to accept it.
Right. Yeah. Because we tell people we're sending them energy and they're the ones that use it, so
they need to know how to use it.
And I think some people don't even know that they're supposed to use it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I like that. Okay.
And it doesn't have to be like a very complicated lesson, but an introduction and, you know, because you learn more about that as you go on through.
It's just a small excerpt.
Yeah.
You're right. Yeah, we can certainly do that. Okay, and then I think that the kind of the end of near the end of the class and session, I think I want to talk about something I've sort of been preaching about lately, how to not only heal yourself but how to start healing others.
Mhm.
You know, how to break not your drama, because you've already learned how to break your drama by going through all these steps that we're going through. So then how to learn to break other people's trauma when it's around you, what to do with that energy, you know, and how to respond or not respond, and how to be the change you want to see in your own communities.
Mhm.
You know, like helping your neighbor or changing your boss at work, you know, or whatever it is that you happen to be doing.
By pretty much not doing anything.
However it works.
Right. Well, we're not trying to convince others to follow our path, so
Right.
We're just
I guess
trying
okay.
By
I see what
being
you're
an
going.
example.
Right.
Yeah.
to show a good
That's-
That's
face.
what I was waiting for.
Yeah, that's what I mean, through being an example.
Yeah.
You know, it's not through telling, instructing, or
Prophesizing.
forcing.
No, not.
Yeah.
It's really not.
It's loving our neighbors and yeah.
Yeah.
Reaching out and helping people.
Okay, so it's how long?
Don't know, haven't written it yet.
Okay.
And my attitude is that because this is our trial and error year, it'll go as long as it goes. And I've told the first year students that are here that also, and one of the online students that it'll last as long as.
So
however it
technically, do you have
lasts.
5 students in first year this year?
Yes.
Oh, last I heard it was 3.
3
3
online.
online and 2 in person.
Oh, okay, okay,
Yeah, and we're going to be teaching at their house.
okay.
Yeah. I have some questions for Coop. I want to know how Skype works, how we do multiple Skype, and what happens if I have a video that I want to show in class. If my laptop's already busy, what do I do with that?
Right.
You know, and how do I get printed material to my online students?
That should be a teacher lesson. Teaching all
Yes.
the teachers.
That's why Coop needs to get together for me, and Heidi, him and Heidi. Because those are the things that I'm going to need before September. I need education in that. I need to have, I don't know, one of the 3 or even Donna volunteer to be the Skype person or something. A couple of our council members or something volunteer to do a couple of Skype sessions with me at my house. So that I can learn how to operate it and fix it if I have any
really
problems.
Somebody better teach me first. I've never used it.
I
really
have
Yeah.
Skype on my Kindle, but I don't know how to use it. But I'd be happy to mess around with it, and we can learn together on how to do
Okay,
Skype.
that'll help. And I think Coop said that the Skype account was only $10 a month or something.
Well, there's an
Skype's
account.
free.
Yeah.
But to do multiple people, I think
there
it's
might be.
$10 a month or something. And he said that,
Oh, I contribute that.
yeah, right, I could do $10 a month. It might be something that we want to do as Rowan Tree account rather than individual.
We need to get some
accounts.
sort of account.
Yeah.
We need to get some sort of
PayPal.
PayPal account.
Where
That's
are
something
we
he
with
was
that?
saying.
I have
Since-
no idea.
Are
It
we
was
waiting on
Coop,
Coop?
And
Yeah.
I think he's been too busy to do anything, but
Okay.
you can certainly ask.
So
if he's gotten
since this
there.
is kind of a businessing thing, Miss, you're going to have to leave this up, and you're probably going to have to head that energy with him. I'm going to put that on you.
Okay. For getting things to people that are already printed out, I have a scanner. I know Donna has a scanner. You scan them in, and you can email them to yourself, and then you can email them out.
Oh,
Yeah.
really?
Yeah.
Okay. Because the only idea that I had was making them a hyperlink, you know, and sending them the link, and then they can open up the link and see the document.
I
think
think
emailing
that's
would work.
possible too,
Yeah.
but I think email is probably the easier way.
Yeah.
Just scanning them in, you scan them and email them to yourself. And you've got them in your email and you send them to the students. That seems to me to be the easiest thing. I don't know how to hyperlink it. I mean, we're talking about a piece of paper that's not anywhere else, right?
Yeah.
It's not on the computer. It's not anywhere else.
Yeah.
So you have to scan it into your computer somehow.
Well, okay, let's say that I have my lessons written on the computer. I know that if I'm writing a lesson and there's a link in there and I'm emailing that lesson to you guys, I can click on the hyperlink thing and write in that link address, and that way when you guys do get it in email, all you have to do is double click on that and it goes right to that document.
Yeah.
You know.
Right.
So that's why I was thinking of that. But that was
it's on
my
a computer, it's simple, but if it's not, and it's just in hard copy, that's what I'm thinking. Just scan things.
Okay, so maybe we need to have a little bit more of a conversation with Coop about that part too. You know, we just need some technical education. We're a bunch of dummies here. At least I am.
Challenged.
Yes, at least I am. And so let's see, we got to have.
So if that lasts about 6 months, how much are you charging for that?
$200.
So you're thinking the whole first year of your stuff
For
$200. Okay.
Yeah,
And then when they're done, they're done. Oh, they're done with first year?
Yeah.
Okay. So if it takes you 3 months.
Well, okay, I started to say that this is my attitude about it because some students take longer to get through things than others. And so when I taught first year, I only had an hour to teach. So my lessons are only a couple of pages. So what I'm finding happening is that I am blending 3 or 4 lessons together. Okay, it's going to be, let's say, 6 pages, which is about what you write for a 2-hour class.
Actually, I was writing about 9 or 10 pages.
Oh, okay. And so depending, and because mine are so discussional based, they may take longer. They may go through them really fast. And if we end up only going 3 months, then we only go 3 months. What they're paying for, that $200 pays for the content, not the length.
Not the time.
Right.
Yeah. And
I imagine each year is going to be different.
And
you're probably going to go at the pace of the slowest learner.
That's right.
Yeah.
That's right. And each year will be different. That's just like it always has been. You know, so that's it. They're paying for the content. They will still get the full body of the work, but it may go faster and it may go slower. That's why I was saying 200. And when I told them it was 200, they just about jumped on it. You know.
That's because pretty much all the other classes are way more expensive. At least twice that. I know 2 different other schools.
I know I've got one link from Orgain that teaches a Wicca class, 101 kind of class, and it's free.
Yeah.
I haven't looked at it yet, you know, and maybe I'll send
it's
that.
Probably really basic too.
Yeah, maybe I'll send that to you because you guys might use that more for second year than I might use it. You know. But there is something that I want taught in second year that I do not feel that we went over well enough, and maybe correct me if I'm wrong, but I do not think that we went over the holidays and moons and stuff adequately, especially the wheel of the year. We didn't go into the history of each of the holidays and lore behind it. And it was very short.
And it might be because it is on the website. I still don't think many even students go onto the website and look around and see those.
We need to talk about it.
Do you?
I do.
I try and post the next one for
website.
everyone, and each one has each time I change it for the next holiday, we have the history behind it, for
Right.
love letters and that what it's about, and we can actually use that in class.
That's right, we can.
Mhm.
So there you are. But that is something I am going to request that you throw in, and I'm not going to request much of anything when it comes to your
I
guys'
agree.
teaching.
Okay.
I agree with that.
I have a totally radical idea for third year I've been thinking about for a couple of days
Good.
that I have not had a chance to talk to Todd about. I have no idea what he'll think, but I don't think that just doing basic history is important. I know I love history, but what I'm thinking is, since we're an open circle teaching coven, what we need more important to teach is about the different traditions that are active today
Yay!
and the history behind them.
Hindu, Native American.
Hindu, Native American,
those.
shamanism,
I think that's a genius idea.
Celtic,
I love it.
Druidry, heathen, Kemetic,
Stuff that people don't know unless they look it up
Greek
online.
Reconstruction,
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Universalist Unitarians.
which I don't know a thing
Yes.
about.
Well,
I'll
I
look
want to
that
know
up.
what I want to know. I
Um,
got to look it
yeah.
up. I've got a note written in front of me on my table. What is a universalist
Yeah,
pagan?
I asked my
Blue.
sister if she would go to the Scottish Rites with me to listen to Neil, what's his name?
Oh,
Dawn and I were
Yeah,
talking
we've
about
been gonna
going.
do
Going on
that
a
one day.
Sunday. We should all pick one Sunday and just go
Yeah.
enjoy their congregation for
Yeah.
a morning.
Mhm.
Now you would still go through the history though,
Yeah,
but
the
also
history
focus on
yeah.
the different
Oh, Amanda,
traditions.
we were doing timelines of ancient Greece
Yeah.
and Rome, and looking at maps and
Yeah.
timelines and
It
stuff.
really
and we
is
don't.
relevant to what we're doing.
Yeah,
Right,
we
right.
really didn't.
But
need that.
knowing all the different
But
people
if
that
we
will
can
come
pick
in.
out
Yes.
I mean, we're non-denominational, so
and
let's
give
pick
them a
all
historical basis.
Yeah.
You
So
know,
nice
yeah.
little
okay,
plot
this is Druidry. What's the basis for it? What's
I
the
really,
I'm so glad I'm doing
I
third
really
year.
like that.
I might join you. I
I'm-
need that
I'm
education
excited.
my own self.
I'm excited. I'm looking forward to that.
Okay.
Get Eleanor to pitch in on the Native American.
So
Yeah.
would you do the same thing that she's doing? Do however many things you've got and do them for ever long it's
Yeah,
gonna last?
probably to find out how
To
it's going to
finish
work,
third year. Okay.
because I don't know.
Can I do third year and fourth year all together? Oh, we're not doing the fourth year this
We're
year.
not doing it for
Right,
you.
this year Stan
Guess I'll
wanted
have
to
to
wait
wait.
until
Yeah.
he wasn't doing it alone. So
Who?
Stan.
Oh, yes.
he could have taken
So,
fourth year, but
so
he
he'll
wanted
be
to
in
wait.
fourth year with me and Eleanor.
Yeah.
And
And
Okay. Oh, and you. Oh,
Yes,
fun.
it's going to
That'll
be
exciting.
quite the class.
agreed.
Yes. And I have some ideas for fourth year. A psychism will be retaught in fourth year
Uh-huh.
and
Excellent.
expanded.
Excellent.
And that's one thing. The other thing that we're going to talk about in fourth year is we're also going to talk about being a 5D individual and what that means. We're going to talk about our own private little communities and our own little ministries that we take, whether we're labeled a minister or not,
Mm-hmm.
and what that looks like, and how we're light workers and what we're doing and things of that nature. And we're going to take a more in-depth look at our egos. And we're going to start fourth year basically the same way we're starting first year. What are your beliefs? We're going to start out at the beginning.
Find out where everybody's at that point. And,
Yeah. And then move from there.
right.
Are we gonna teach Reiki at all?
I have never felt that I got proper instruction in Reiki. Now, Donna is the only person I know of that has been really avid in the Reiki, and that's up to her.
Feels like a real Reiki master. Can you pass it on?
I've never felt totally like a real Reiki master. No, I don't know how to do the.
And I do not believe in the teaching, healing, leading thing in the same manner
What
as
do you mean teaching?
it was. Well, what we had constructed earlier, prior to my leadership, was that to teach meant that you had to teach in RTP and curriculum only, or have some additional class that you taught, like magical conversations or light worker classes or something like that. But those were not really in promotion. And leading under old leadership meant ritual and ritual only. It is not so with me. Leading has to do with what you're doing in your own communities. We kind of touched on this yesterday. It has to do with what you're doing in your own communities. That's leading. Yes, I want you to be doing rituals, but if you are terrified of doing rituals and you don't want to do a ritual, you don't have to sign up for a ritual. If I have to carry that load, then I guess that's my job. But I know you guys. You're not going to let me do that.
Right.
Because we're a team. And you have a team spirit. So that is leadership. Healing. My God, Heidi. Whether you were doing it on purpose or not, you were healing your workplace.
Absolutely.
And why your spiritual institution would not support that, I have no idea. That's just crazy. Same with Coop. Look at all the people he's touched and brought to us, throughout time. And, Donna certainly does her healing with her little Reiki bears and dragons and stuff like that and some other things that she's doing. She's got the healer's nook and whatnot. And you heal through contact with your neighbors and people in your wonderful little community that you have that is so challenging, and I applaud you greatly for.
I do my best there.
Yeah, you do good.
I try to spread joy.
Yeah, so that to me is what teaching, leading, and healing is about, and that's the other thing that we're going to talk about in fourth year.
Yeah, when we were in Seattle Sunday, we were having a party for the graduation and all, whatever. Got talking to one of the ladies that I had never met before, but we had some interest and got talking, and she got a bad phone call about somebody that had a heart attack. Hadn't known her 2 hours, and she come and hung on to me for 10 minutes. Just she needed a hug so bad.
Because you exude that energy.
Yeah.
Yes.
And that's what you put out. That's healing.
That is healing.
Absolutely.
That you're open to that.
And that is giving to your community.
That's right. That's right.
Even someone that you just
even
met.
to a stranger, yeah.
And that's what we're here for, ladies. That is what we are here for.
Well, I'm asking about Reiki because in every teacher that I've run across, every master that I've run across and read stuff on, agrees that Reiki can only be passed on in person.
Yeah.
It can't be passed on online.
Yeah, I agree.
You can't.
Okay.
The reason I'm hesitant, when I took the course with Swami Tai, and he got to the point where he was showing symbols, the chogri or whatever, I don't remember. And this, all at once, my guides started screaming in my head, no, use the runes, don't use that. So I'm not a traditional Reiki master. I was initiated in it, the full thing, but I've never used the traditional symbols because they won't let me.
Right.
So let me say this about Reiki
Norse or Celtic runes
and healing. Dawn has the runes that work for her as far as symbols go. I have a way of reading and healing by touch that works for me.
That's not necessarily Reiki.
You have crystals.
Right.
You have your way of being magical with your neighbors through your personage, and that's very healing to them as well. And I'm not sure what else you do, but you have a great touch with the children, and that's certainly healing to them as well. So we all have our own ways of healing. And I think that as long as this spiritual body honors and recognizes as many ways of healing as they do denominations, okay, there we are. That's all we need.
And I'm totally for Reiki, but I can't do the traditional, so I would not dare initiate it with anyone because I would feel like a fraud.
Right.
I know, I certainly would.
Yeah.
You know, and as far as certifying teachers goes, I don't think that we really need to certify teachers.
No.
I think that what we need to do is we need to know them a little bit, you know, and in whatever way that means. You know, I might be sure about somebody, for example, but you and Donna may not be. You guys may need a little bit more time to get to know them than I have because I'm very in people's lives as a minister. That's how I heal. You know, it's one of the other ways I heal. And so we vote to take a little bit more time, and you guys request whatever it is you need, an interview or whatever, and we go on about our business and do it that way. I don't think that we need a teacher certification.
I can kind of understand why we had it, though.
Yeah.
I know, we need to find a little compromise in between the two.
Yeah. I don't know about a compromise between the two, but we'll certainly look at it. I'm not closed. You know, I'm not closed at all. And the other thing that, speaking of healing, we have healing circles on the calendar. And
None before Litho, right? Before next Saturday?
No.
Okay.
I think the first one's in July.
Another meeting before the
1st of
21st.
July,
I would
actually.
just scream. Oh my God, I would scream.
I think there's one for the 1st of July.
Yeah.
That may not be. I mean, does no one have plans for that weekend?
Wait, yeah, no.
Wait,
no,
no,
I
the
did
first.
not
Hold
put
on,
that on
the
the 1st of
The
July.
1st of July
Donna.
is like a Tuesday
Yeah, I know.
because the 4th is Friday. It's during the week.
There is something on the 1st of July. What is it? Healing circle.
Okay. It's a Tuesday, right?
It is.
Okay, so we're okay. No
Yeah.
one's going to be leaving that day.
No.
Okay.
I think I might be in town that day.
As far as I know, I'm not
I have a
working
lot of
that day.
trips
So.
planned.
Where are we having it? Do we know yet? Is it all those TDAs?
Healing circle.
Mostly. I think we could do it in the park, couldn't we?
We could do it in a park
I think it'd be so much better than being indoors.
Or someone has a nice
what
big
time of day,
backyard
though?
or
Yeah.
something.
You know, I'm wondering if my sister would let me do it in her backyard. They have.
We can have them in my place too. My little backyard is little, but we kind of figured it out. We can probably house up to 15, 20 people in my backyard.
Do you have the chairs?
There's my little
I've
backyard
got
too.
yeah, we could put quite a nice little circle in your
that's
yard.
right. You've got-
And it's all cleaned up and looking pretty
Yeah.
these days. So.
Yeah, we could do a nice little circle in your yard. You know, so we've got locations.
Just gotta pick which one you want.
Yeah, and hopefully it would be nice to be able to. Never mind.
Are those from 6:30 to 8:30 or 6:30 to
6 to 8, yeah.
Okay.
Is 6:30 better for you, Heidi?
No,
No.
6 is fine.
6 is fine.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, 6 resonates with me for some reason, and it works for you too.
Most of the time.
Okay.
If not, I'll let you know.
Yeah.
I know I'm off that day.
Yeah. I don't know why 6:30 always kind of sat funny with me. But yeah, we've got locations, you know, and I'm going to be looking into something. I have been informed that having a tax exempt status actually can lower the cost of rental, hall rental, space rental in some places to almost half.
So you find something already really cheap and then half.
Well, the Phoenix Grange is only $50 for the day.
That's not
Last
bad.
time I checked.
It's really good.
However, there may be restrictions that have to be asked about, like no fire, no alcohol, you know, things of that nature.
Right.
Most of which is no problem.
Yeah.
We can always use battery candles if we have to.
As long as we're prepared.
Yeah, I'm an old-fashioned gal. I like the real thing,
I
But
do too,
but if that's
I can
what we've
adapt
got
if
to
I
do,
have to.
yeah, that's what we've got to
Yeah.
do. For sure. I remember the ritual. I was telling Mike just earlier today what you did that one time at the park. You brought those little candle dishes that had the battery-operated flames
Right.
in them and put the glass-colored stuff in them for the different directions. Yeah.
Yeah, that worked out.
Yeah, it worked out really nice.
Especially where it was windy and hot.
Yeah.
It was safer.
Yeah. A lot safer.
Mm.
So.
Okay, I have a question.
Yeah.
In teaching the Wheel of the Year, are we teaching the Celtic Wheel of the Year? Are we teaching Wicca Wheel of the Year?
Well, okay.
Well, I am ignorant about Wheel of the Year then. I thought there was one.
It's
Well,
northern.
I figured there was more than one, but I'm only aware of one.
Right. I imagine that Hindus probably have,
Right.
they
Yeah,
probably have
that's
one.
the
I imagine
thing.
that the Native Americans probably have one.
Right.
The Native Americans definitely have one.
They have, and it may land on the same day.
Right.
It may not. You never know.
Right.
I imagine they do because we're using solstices and equinoxes,
Right.
and those are all pretty much the same.
So would I be familiar with like the Wiccan Wheel of the Year? Okay.
Yeah, but it's not Wiccan. It's it was Celtic
It
first.
was Celtic
Yeah.
first.
And
Okay.
Wiccan took
Mostly,
it,
yeah.
made it
Okay.
theirs.
The thing to remember about Wicca, in my never to be humble opinion, is that Wicca is
It's about 70 years old.
yeah,
Right.
it's about 70 years old, and it
it's
borrowed
like
heavily from many different paths.
Right. And it's more of
North
a
and
like religious institution.
Much
type.
more ceremonial.
Yeah.
They're in
It
the
is
With,
a little
with
bit
more
more-
with like more dogma
A
type
little bit,
stuff.
yes, but not every Wiccan is into
Right.
that rigidity
Right,
or
right.
ceremonial.
I don't think Bill
Right.
is.
No.
And so Wicca has really become this loose term for neo-paganism.
Right.
Right.
A lot of Wiccans would object to that statement. Some
And a
would
lot of
argue-
non-Wiccans object to
Object
that
to it too,
statement
right.
too.
Right.
I mean, there's
I tend to get all
Shakira and
pissy about
Italy
that.
that follow the same path too.
Right.
So it's not all Celtic and,
Right.
and Norse,
Right.
but it pretty much took most of their stuff like the wheel and the corners and all those from those traditions.
Right. Okay.
Yeah.
That's what we need to do in third year.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Learn about those.
Yeah.
Yeah. I would love to.
Different traditions, yeah.
Yes, but we still need to teach about the holidays and the
Yes,
wheel
we
in
do.
second year as
because
well.
It is recognized by most pagans these days.
I think that's part of traditions too. Because every path may have its own little tweak to how they
Oh,
celebrate
yeah.
the holidays.
Yeah, just depending on where you live in the world.
Right.
So, I don't know if you can send this to Todd and Linda.
What I'll probably do is put it on YouTube and send them a link to YouTube to go watch it.
Okay, so we kind of gathered here to listen to Todd and Linda's ideas about school.
Mm-hmm.
And they had, last I heard, they had an idea for 4 semesters.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know what that entails or anything beyond that, but we are still kind of waiting to hear. And maybe in the next teachers meeting we can get that.
Do they have one of those scheduled?
Yeah, next month.
Okay.
Sometime next month.
Yeah, towards the middle.
As long as we've got one, that's all.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, it's towards the middle of the month somewhere. Actually, it might be the 23rd.
Of July. Teacher.
Yeah, it
meetings every
is.
month.
It's the 23rd of July.
Probably for now till we get things worked out.
And I'm out of town at that point.
That's okay. I'm going to tell
It'll
you
be
guys.
videotaped.
I'm going to tell you guys something. As long as you are at most of the meetings, I'm not going to have little kitten fits about you missing a few meetings here and there.
Good.
You know, I mean, I felt like it was such a huge, huge thing to miss a council meeting, and you were really frowned upon for missing a council meeting. You know, it was just not acceptable. And you know, our lives. We used to talk about having a little bit of wiggle room, and we need to have that wiggle room.
Life happens.
Yes.
And I think with videotaping that's really going to help too. So
I'm gonna see
that
if this works first.
so that
This will be a good test for
caught
that.
up to speed, and you know,
Absolutely.
and
Yeah,
then once we get into Skyping, then that'll put a whole another, you know,
Yeah.
another thing.
And I mean,
to
we've
it.
got the technology. Why
It's
not
just,
use it?
Right. It's just
Yeah.
learning how,
Exactly.
and then getting comfortable.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, getting that education.
Yeah.
Yeah. So we're going to have a learning process, you know, where Coop and Heidi are going to have to come in and teach the teachers
And
what
be
they're
patient,
doing.
very patient.
Yes.
Please still love me.
I'm going to ask you this for the umpteenth time. What was that? Yeah. So, I would like to hear Todd and Linda's ideas and see what they have to say. But I do agree that we need to have a body of curriculum or education that we offer to those who still want to go through a Rowan Tree ministership, if we're going to continue to offer that. We have not put that forward out in council yet, if we still want to do that. But I am getting the feeling that we do still want to do that.
Yeah.
And I think it's important to have it. I think it makes us different than other groups. I think it's important to pass on that education. You know, I think it's important to building and bonding with the ministers that we have, you know, but it has to be done with the idea that we are setting them free afterwards. Just because they become a minister in Rowan Tree does not mean they have to stay in Rowan Tree.
Forever and ever and ever.
However, if they're going to say, I'm a minister of Rowan Tree and go on and often do their own, do they keep the title?
Yes.
Minister of Rowan Tree?
Yes. And that is going to be done on a case-by-case basis. We will decide as a body, you know, if, you know, what the deciding factors are. You know, is this person living their lives, you know, the way we've just talked about here today?
And can they actually go through 4 years and not?
Well, we don't know
Yes,
how
they
long,
can.
we don't know how long that body of education will be at this particular point in time just yet. But if they commit to it, you know, I know it's going to be longer than 3 months.
Right.
Okay. It's probably going to be longer than 6 months.
Yeah.
You know, it's probably going to be at least 2 years. You know, we kind of threw around a year and a day kind of thing for getting to know someone before we brought them on as a minister based on what they do in their own neighborhoods. Because I'm going to tell you, I've said it before, if we have somebody, well, let's just use Daniela as an example. If we have somebody like Daniela come to us and say, I want to be a minister and a teacher, and we know their work, and we know what they've done in their community.
Taken a class before.
Yeah, and I'm going to say, hell yeah, you could be a teacher, you could be a minister. You know, but for somebody else we don't know quite so well, it may be a different process, and that's why I keep talking about judging it on a case-by-case basis and doing it both.
So if I, right now, this second, I'm marrying my mom to someone in 2 weeks, could I I've been using my ULC license to sign the marriage certificate. Can I use my Rowan trade?
Absolutely. I don't see why you shouldn't. And with that said, it is only a technicality that we have not gotten to a council meeting and voted you back in as a minister, but you never really truly left.
Well,
far
I never
as
signed
was
the opt-out
That's
papers.
right.
Yeah, you never signed an opt-out form, and
I'd rather use it than the ULC.
it hurts my brain now. And anyway, I do not see anyone objecting to you coming back as a minister that is on the council. And which, by the way, yesterday, Miss Amanda announced she would like to be a councilor.
Right on.
Very good. Beautiful.
I'd love to see what I can do and what I can help y'all with.
So if you ever need a ride and she's unavailable, you let me know.
Yes.
I'll give you my number.
Yes. And
Because
I will
I'm
pretty
close
much
enough to
always
get you.
need a ride.
I figured. If you
Okay.
haven't been able to get into the test.
Okay. Excellent. Yeah. Thank you very much.
That's great. So is there anything else about teaching that we need to go over?
Not today.
Yeah.
Not today.
My brain's all in second year.
Yeah.
So.
Read the book.
I can.
You will learn so much.
Yes, we're going to be, that's the other thing for the teachers, we're going to be passing around this book, and it's called A Teaching Handbook for Wiccan and
I
Pagans.
think you should read it first.
Yes.
Well, it'll go from
And it does
around,
have a lot of suggestions for online classes,
and
which will help a
As-
whole bunch.
it has suggestions for online classes. So I think that's probably going to be a required text for the teachers.
That one will go in our community library.
Oh, I do have one more thing about teaching, and this may be an obvious point. But I want any classes that we're teaching online or whatever, I want us to make sure that they end up on the community page.
How?
You know.
I mean, as an
I
announcement.
don't, as an announcement.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't, no,
That's-
not for free. No, not
Okay.
for free.
Okay.
But as an announcement.
So,
Maybe as an event, announce it like an event and host a link that they can connect to. Like you see some of the ones that I post, like Todd TV or whatever it is.
right.
Or Selena sometimes.
Oh, you don't mean on the website, you mean on the community
The
page.
community
Oh, okay, I'm
page.
sorry, I'm thinking website. I can put it on as an event on the website too. But as long as they're on the calendar. As long as like the start date's on the calendar, I can do that.
Okay, yeah, because they need to be on the calendar too. Well, I don't know. Do they need to be on the calendar?
I think they should. They always have been.
Well,
That way, if someone who wants to come in and teach a class, like a light work or something like
So
that.
this brings me back into teaching questions.
That we're done.
If we are going to be teaching online, are the only classes we going to teach going to be live cast, or are we going to also sell classes that can be accessed after with our live cast?
That's a really good question.
Yeah, it is.
I don't know if you can put them on YouTube and lock them and let only certain people in to see them. Like if they have a password or something like that. Maybe not necessarily on YouTube, on something else where we can charge before they get to see them. Like Gaiam. Have you ever seen Gaiam TV?
Yeah.
Okay. You have to pay to be able to access those. That's a way of doing it.
What about, I know nothing about creating more pages and stuff, but what about creating a page or something that you have to have a username and a password to get into to do the video stuff or anything that has to do with the school or
there might
anything
be
like
a
that?
way to put it on the website and to do that username and password guarded. I have not been on the new updated versions of WordPress. I was trying to figure out what it was. So I don't know what it looks like and what we do have access to and what we can do. I imagine that we have such an old version that it's probably got something like that.
Yeah, no, Coop brought it up. Yeah.
And we'll have to update it first and then, well, probably get it on his servers at the same time.
And I can hear him screaming at us. I just can't hear every word that
Right.
he's saying.
I do too.
And there are ways of creating communities.
So, Coop, if you're
online
listening
where-
to this, sweetheart, you need to come have a meeting with us. Get all these little details together and come educate us, please. You know, because I know we're going to be at that point eventually, and I don't know if I'm jumping the gun or not, you know, but we're going to want to sell our classes when we're not live casting at some point.
Right. And it would be nice for students to be able to go back to an archive to review things and
It will be.
yeah.
But is that a potential to get lazy, to teach a class, have it online, and not need to teach the next year because it's there?
No,
Good question, I
wouldn't,
think.
Wouldn't each year need their
Each
own?
year is different.
Yeah.
So we can't really do that. I just want to put it out there that it's not
That-
going to be
right.
that way.
Right.
Maybe it would. There's
Yeah,
some way
but
we
these
could limit
classes
the
are
time.
available for this year and this year only.
Right.
After
And
that,
then you take it
will
off.
have to and
Yeah.
then take it and then take it
And
off.
take it down and do
Yeah.
another one.
Yeah.
Because the next time it's taught, it will be taught a little bit
different.
differently with the different students and different interactions.
Right. Good stuff to think about.
I don't know if we want to keep those though.
Yeah, that's a good
We could
topic
keep our
for
own
discussion.
copy.
Right,
We
a
have to-
backup to go back to learn
Mhm.
from for next classes and stuff. You know, maybe not keeping them out for students.
Well, we can keep them on the
review
website on the admin
indefinitely.
side. Have them on the website when you've got the when you can actually go into WordPress and build the website. You can go in and access those where they're not necessarily online.
Yeah.
Right.
So
Okay. I really think that you and Coop need to sit down. You need to write up some questions, and you and Coop really need to sit down and you know, field some of our questions and go over a bunch of stuff, you know. So if you can get with him and kind of start the ball rolling a little bit with some of this, that would be really great. I think that's what the next step is of what we need.
we'll be in the next 2 weeks.
It doesn't have to be before August, really. You know, I mean, maybe by the next meeting on the 23rd. How about that? We'll target that. July 23rd. So,
Do you guys see the drum circle announcement?
I did. Okay, so are we done with the teaching segment? I think.
I think so for tonight.
All right, we can turn this off.
Bye, Coop. Bye, Todd.
Bye, guys.
Bye.
No.